Let's get some more reaction here from Indianapolis. We welcome back in Mike Hall, who is with Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports.com. Mike?
Okay, Dave, thanks. Yep, Dennis Dodd here from CBS Sports.com. What message was delivered today by the NCAA?
Well, I thought, Mike, this was the nuclear bomb. This was the defoliation of Penn State, not only punishing them for perceived wrongdoing, but I think sending a huge message to the membership that this type of thing won't be tolerated. Now, you can argue this is criminal acts, yes, but I think this goes over into the athletic realm too. This will have the lasting effect, I think, of the death penalty in 1987, where it sent that huge message.
Well, what does it say that some people, even the NCAA admitted it's not necessarily in their jurisdiction? The fact that they did act and so strongly, what does that say?
Well, I think they had to act. I talked to Mark Emmert off to the side today, and I said the opposite of this would have been you've done nothing. They're dealing with athletics. There would have been this huge public outcry. Why doesn't the NCAA do anything? We would have understood why, but I don't think the public would. And I think in a case as heinous as this that they had to weigh in, and they did. They used the Constitution and the powers of the executive committee and the board to do it. So I think it was just from that angle.
Was it thorough enough?
It's pretty thorough. When you talk about a 4-year bowl ban, can't be calculated in terms of damage in recruiting. They're going to lose 40 scholarships, be limited to 65 in any given year going forward the next 4 years. 1AA only allows 63. So in essence, Penn State's going to be recruiting or playing at a 1AA level in the Big Ten for 4 years.
The phrase they kept using was unprecedented. In what ways is this penalty unprecedented?
Well, unprecedented because they use criminal acts to get to the penalties. That had never been done before. Unprecedented in their scope, $60 million, taken away from the revenue. The NCAA had never done this before. Their take was because they'd never seen, the corruption at the top of the administration of the school like this. I personally think this is going to be like the death penalty in that they will seal the vault. It will never be used again, but it's always there. It's always there as that hammer, that reminder.
When we were talking beforehand, you mentioned what this does to Bill O'Brien. You've known him for a little while now. What does this do to Bill O'Brien? Yeah,
Bill O'Brien, great guy, great coach. I spent 3 days on a bus with him in May, just chronicling his speaking tour and how Penn State was going to come back and heal. He didn't buy into this. He bought in, obviously, to a damaged program, trying to rehab its image. I don't think he bought into 65 scholarships and the loss of 40. It's unfair to him. He's just starting his head coaching career. And I asked Mark Emmert about that, the innocence, the players. And it's like any other case, like USC, like other cases, you have to punish the institution in cases like this, whether that's right or wrong. And unfortunately, that goes back on Bill O'Brien.
What steps still remain for Penn State?
Well, they have to figure out how they're going to, this thing hasn't started yet. They have to figure out how they're going to attack recruiting, how they're going to be competitive, because it looks like for looking down the road 4 years, they're going to be virtually non-competitive. As I said, they're going to compete on a 1AA level in the Big Ten. That's how they have to go forward. Hopefully the message has been learned about not keeping quiet and not letting the top administrators in the country or in the school and the coach run the university. That was the message delivered today by Mark Emmert. The culture has to change.
Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports.com. Tremendous insight. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.